Okay, thank you everybody for attending this wonderful little teaching I'm going to give. Yeah. So today, we're still dealing with the worldwide coronavirus and the process of Trump and the process of the worldwide scenarios that people aren't aware of. Yeah, so I'm going to try and catch up with the process. One, it's better to take a look at what's going on in the world. One of the things that's going on in the world is that the head of Tibet has moved from Tibet to America. Okay? The head of Tibet. Now, the head of Tibet, I used to live there. And I ran all of Tibet. Yeah? And I have hundreds of thousands of masters that are in Tibet, that are leaving Tibet, and are in process. But they're going to remain all around the world as regents. Yeah, so I get incarnated in 1951. The Tibetans come. They said, you got to go back. And I said, no. Didn't go back. Then when I did go back, I was around 30. And by that time, I was very clear as to what I want to do and how I'm going to do it and how it needs to be done. Yeah. So there is a process of this planet that has to do with my future and my present scenario. Yeah. And the present scenario is that we have a president and we have a monument in front of Washington, D.C., that connects to a pyramid. For what reason? Yeah, it's an obelisk. Yeah, and if you study obelisks, they're put on for a purpose. And they're directly connected to a 51-degree pyramid somewhere. Yeah, Great Pyramid, well, there's nobody hanging out in there, no one running anything from there. So where is that pyramid that's running the office of the president? And we all know that that's a titulary office. And maybe you need to know what titulary means. Titulary means that people come and go. It's an office of temporary position. It's necessary because people lose their faculties. Yeah, they don't stay that smart that long. Yeah, so it's better to give them an 8-year term or a 10-year term and let someone a lot wiser, more educated, and ready to fulfill the need of the time to take that position. So this goes on. It's common. It's what's been moved throughout the world to be the right way of developing countries. Yeah, is voting, democracy, and all of the learning process of governing. Well, in Tibet, I ran that thing pretty clean, but I was kicked out of this place a long time ago. Yeah, and a whole other group of people entered in, and that was during the 5th incarnation of the Dalai Lama. Now, the 1st and 2nd and 3rd were my incarnations, and I didn't want to be Dalai Lama. Yeah, that was done by Mongolians, and they ruled Tibet at the time. And because we had to take relationship with the most powerful leaders of the time, one of them was a Mongolian as Genghis Khan in the family of the Khans. And it was in my incarnation, I felt that it was necessary to bless these people and bring them into the Dharma and have them become students. It didn't work out for me. Yeah, within 3 or 4 years of doing that, the oldest Khan, the grandfather, made a decision that, let's make this person the head of Tibetan Buddhism, call him the Dalai Lama, make a big enthronement, a lot to do with it, and let's focus upon the fact that he reincarnates and who might have been his previous 2 other incarnations. So automatically they chose to make the first incarnation of the Dalai Lama the third Dalai Lama. Yeah, not the second, not the first, but the third. This is scripted. It's scripted, yeah? And I had nothing to do with it because I had to be murdered before this could take place. So right after I was enthroned and made the Dalai Lama, which was, they know to be the first, but actually it was the third in the positions of Dalai Lama, so they kill me, yeah? And then within a year and a half to 2 years, an incarnation of the grandfather takes place, and he takes the position as the fourth Dalai Lama, yeah? And that particular position nobody likes. Everybody thinks he's a fake. Everybody thinks there's no way. We don't like this guy. We don't like his character. We don't like anything about him. He doesn't want to study. He doesn't want to do any of the things that we see, what we think the previous 3 Dalai Lamas did, which is true. I was an avid student. I studied all the time, and I taught. So I was a master amongst all the masters, and I built monasteries, and I established what was in Tibetan Buddhism a lineage connection between them all. Yeah, but that had nothing to do with the Dalai Lama. Yeah, and after the making of the Dalai Lama, this ushered in another government, a government that ruled the khans. Yeah, greed. Yeah, taxing. Yeah, manipulation, slavery, injustice of every kind happened from that incarnation on. So now if we look back in the history of Tibet, we'll see that almost all the people of Tibet were slaves, indentured slaves to all the people who were lamas and head lamas and owners of land. Yeah. So this kept things in a way in which I never would have manifested it, and because of that, all my incarnations were made illegal from that point on, because I was known as Dorje Chungden, and the Dalai Lama and his people murdered me, attempted to murder me 5 times, and finally murdered me the last time, and that created a terrible curse on the Dalai Lama and Tibetan Buddhism, because I am the reincarnation of Buddha. I mean, I don't want to do anything to make anybody angry or judgment or anything like that, but people have got to pay. This is going to come back around. You don't take out Jesus Christ without it having an inevitable process on your karma. You don't take out Buddha without it having a terrible process on your karma. Yeah, so just look upon these people, these poor Tibetans. What happened to them with China? What happened to them throughout time? Look at their behavior and all their activity. They were cursed beyond the wildest imagination. And the only one who wasn't cursed was me. And I had a band, a very small band, of the different lineages of the different masters of each one of those, and we all band together and kept secret our reincarnations, especially mine and a few others. So that, that's where I come from. But yet, for thousands of years, I helped to establish what's known as democracy and the future of governing in a democratic way all throughout the world. Yeah, it's a governing body. Shambhala is a governing body. Yeah, but it works with science. It works with understanding. It works with the ability to take in through enlightenment the need for change and to govern according to all the situations at hand, and then negotiate how to best deal with it. Now, this is right use of the chakras that heal all the nations, but you need high governing embodied beings to do that governing. You can't have a king, you can't have a queen, you can't have a Hitler, you can't have a Trump. Yeah, we're in the very lowest level of this governing body right now. And that's going to change dramatically because I moved. I moved from Tibet. And I choose another country, which I have been developing for 2,000 years. Yeah. That's how we found America. That's how America became what it is. That's why all the Indians established themselves as Buddhist. And all their teachings are Buddhist teachings, and they don't know it. Because deep within the ground were masters of wisdom that came from my group, that came to America and meditated and taught the Native Americans for 1,000 years, establishing their entire way of being, to where they built pyramids, they built cities, they built communities, they governed. Yeah? And then their level of consciousness was trickled over to Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Adams, and everybody else. That was a trickling effect, a process of evolution that was spurred on from Buddhism, established into America. Yeah? So America, by nature, is a Buddhist country led by Buddha. Yeah? And yet you have no idea. Yeah? But in Washington, D.C., we've got an obelisk sitting there, and nobody knows why. And you go, oh, that's really nice. It's got a light on the top. It's to make sure planes don't crash into Washington, D.C. It's a great big light, you know, to protect the building. Yeah, right? Yeah. Not that at all. Yeah. It's there to create an oscillating effect between this pyramid and that system, that governing system. And it's in slow motion. Slow governing motion. Slow but sure. But it's in slow motion. Right now, everything's out of hand and everything's in the left hand. And it's governed by that. And the fight is all about that left hand exists. And there's no common sense. There's no negotiation. You can't go, well, we're Democrats, and well, we're Republicans, well, we're this or that. Really, it's all about left-hand spin and fighting against that left-hand spin. And how to slowly but surely, how to negotiate a way to keep going during terrible times, war and diseases and things like that. Yeah. But it's obvious that when you have people like this in the office, you're going to have circumstances like this. Yeah, you're going to have millions of people dying all over the world, yeah, and it's going to settle right here in America. Because when you have the highest opportunity of governing body, highest opportunity of a nation, and yet it's not fulfilled, it's not soulfully integrated, its potential is there and everybody knows it. Everybody knows the American potential, the American dream. Yeah? Something there, something about it. It's governed by God, something about God. Maybe even the coming of Christ will happen in America. Maybe Christ will stand up and take over the governing responsibility of America. Yeah? Or would he walk into the religions, you know? Or would he start his own religion? Well, I established this place. Yeah? And that's way before the Dalai Lama ever came into living. Yeah? I have established so many monastic realities, all of them based on governing. How to govern. Yeah? Every single bit of it. Yeah? Yeah. So that's what's going on here. But this deal isn't like what you've got. You know, you have a titulary situation. It's temporary. That means that the people in charge are debilitated by potential. Yeah? They're going to go senile. They could go crackers on you. Yeah? They could be taking drugs. Yeah? They could be a part of a cult. Yeah? Like Trump. Yeah? Totally in a belief system of some God cult scenario, and he's the chosen one. So whatever he does, there's nobody to question it or guess against it, because he's the chosen one. What happens through him isn't happening through somebody else, so they all got to stand right behind him and say, whatever the president says, we do. Whatever the president does, that's good. That's great. Not a problem. He's completely perfect. Because you're thinking he is the hand of God. And that's not true. But it is going to happen. Yeah? It's just that you have the Antichrist in the position before you get the Christ in the position. Yeah. So this wasn't an easy thing for me to establish in Tibet. It took me well over 1,000 years to establish the governing body by establishing many different lineages. Each lineage learning how to let go of all their vices. Every single one was letting go of all these things that wouldn't allow you to govern correctly. Yeah? How to respond. The ability to respond. Yeah? The ability to receive enlightened telepathic impression from the Lord. Yeah? And having the Lord be in charge. And the Lord manifest in the process of being in charge. So there's symptoms that go on, healing symptoms that go on, changing symptoms that go on, that we can actually count on. Yeah? We can actually continue moving through. Yeah? But imagine if we're in a situation to where we're left-hand spin, right-hand spin, and we're dominantly in the right hand, of will and wish and perseverance and strength and courage and all those things that are constantly moving us forward. Yeah, our soul, small aspects of it, but it is our soul. Yeah, and it's always going to be there. There's symptoms are always going to be alive. It just could take a long time or a short amount of time. Yeah. So by me incarnating and choosing that this is where I'm going to stay, this is my base, this is where I'm going to stay. There's more to that than me saying, hey, I'm going to hang out here. I'll get a house, I'll hang out, I'll be American, I'll wear shorts, I'll be all American, Yeah. But that doesn't make anything, What is really happening is that this place is going to evolve into Shambhala. Yeah. And that place you see as the president's house is the house of the Planetary Logos and not the President of the United States. Yeah. But you don't know Planetary Logos exists, but you will in the year 2030. And you'll learn more by the year 2040. By the time you come and go, by the year 2050, you're going to be able to see the Planetary Logos and the masters of wisdom that surround him, that take up offices and positions in the Senate, the Congress, the House of Representatives, and every single area of governing body in every single state. Mayors, governors, they're all coming. They're all my group. They're just not ready to leave Tibet yet. They're not ready to leave Nepal. Yeah. They're really just waiting. Yeah, because there's a time to everything. Yeah. And we are in process. Yeah, we're in process. We've got to wait out our time because it's the time of the Trump cycle. Yeah. We have to have Trump so we can get past it. So we can say, that was the era of Trump. Wow. That was amazing. That was terrible. We learned a lot from that. We will be investigating that for over 10 years. Yeah. We'll be constantly bringing up more shit and more stuff, making us more aware of other people and making understanding a regulation, a way to regulate how it is we choose and allow other people to manipulate the office of the president or the governor or the mayor or the chief of police or a cop. When you're given the ability to serve and not really have a whole lot of control around you, you're giving the willpower. When you are taking that badge, yeah, as an officer, as a military person, whatever position you're in, it's a badge of being able to take or save another person's life. Yeah. And you have to have so much control over your emotional body. Yeah. You have to be very much a disciple of martial arts. Yeah. To step into any form of police business. Yeah? And that's going to take time. About the year 2030, 2035, there will be people who it is in their hearts. They want to be a cop, but yet they also want to practice martial arts. And they want to practice meditation. And they want to be a cop in the harmless state. They don't want a weapon. They'll go out without a weapon. Yeah? If I go down, then I learned a lesson. Yeah? If I didn't go down and I saved someone, you all learned a lesson. Yeah. And I'd rather push people to the point of kung fu as I did in China. Yeah. Than have it come out the way it is today. Yeah. That's my way. Yeah. It's Buddha's way. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what position you're playing in. All those positions have rays. They have qualities, characteristics that drive them to want to have that ability, that strength, that courage. Yeah? When you get a lot of heart, when you get that courage and strength and all of that, and it builds up in your heart, you have the ability to control the first ray. Yeah? But if you don't have a lot of heart and you're put in a position of power, power will take over. And you'll beat the crap out of someone without heart. You're not ready. You're not ready for that position. Yeah. And we're not ready. Yeah. As a world, we're not ready for that. Yeah. But we're going to be. Because by nature, you're learning that this is what Christ is about. Yeah. This is what Buddha was incarnated for. All the previous lives. Yeah. This is what Christ was incarnated for. That's why Buddha was a prince. Yeah. That's why Christ was thought to be a king. Yeah. And the head of police, can you imagine? Christ is the head of police. He's the head of it. He's the head of anything that has to do with holding back aggression, hostility, Satan, the worst of the worst, all the way down to talking and violence and everything. It's through Christ that is transformed. Yeah? So the person who's doing the police work or doing any part of it has to have that instilled in them 100% and be there in the faith and the strength of a highly gifted martial artist who practiced this on a daily basis from childhood on. Yeah? And we're going to have tens of thousands of beautiful young boys and girls that are going to take over these positions in the world. Yeah? And they're not purple children or indigo children or anything like that. Yeah? Yeah? Just imagine they're Rinpoches. Yeah? They're high, incarnate, second and third degree initiates who have mastered sitting in a cave for hundreds or thousands of years and have no identification with the need of desire. No identification whatsoever. It's been gone for thousands of years. And they dematerialize when they die. This is common in Tibet. All these people who do that are on their way here. And they're on their way into all the rest of the world. Yeah? To take on the positions that nobody else has the strength to take on. But they have to have Buddha, the Christ, in the highest position. Because no one will stand up for them. No one will allow them in those positions. Yeah? It's all part of a system, a hierarchy. And if you don't believe in the hierarchy now, you will later. Because it's going to save your ass. It's going to save us all. Yeah? If you're in some Mother Earth sanctuary of Gaia, believing that the hierarchy is an illusion, you are a Satanist. You are a Satanist who has lost their soul. And you're standing in the way of all of humanity, learning that it's absolutely important to have law and order. Yeah? To have peace on earth. Yeah? And the ability to take a highly aggressive being and twist that person up through their own energy. Yeah? In martial arts, we don't practice aggressive martial arts. Yeah? There's all kinds. Yeah? But the kind that's going to happen is a form of Aikido. Anything that comes to you, has a lot of force, a lot of aggression, and it's very imbalanced right off the bat. Yeah? That's just the way it is. All of it. Aggression, hostility, it's right off the bat. Imbalanced, and it's aggressive. It's using will. Yeah? Well, all you got to do is take that will and let it continue. Yeah? You direct it, redirect it. Fist comes at you, take that fist and let it continue. But let the person roll with the energy they're going with. Yeah? They just fall right over because they're imbalanced. Everybody's imbalanced. Yeah? The key is to learn to become balanced and only handle these aggressive moments by being the center of the cyclone. And doesn't matter what's coming at you, a bullet, a knife, a person, many persons, you can handle it. You just have no idea. But when it happens, you'll be surprised. Yeah? Because that's what chi does. Chi is a defense process built in to the human being like an animal. The instincts are very high in the human being. And we don't need big-ass muscle. Yeah? We don't need all this thing. We need training. We need practice. We need commitment. And once we do that, we lose all of this other stuff. But first it takes these other masters to come out who have done all this, has it grounded in their being, and then they protect you while you're trying to meditate, while you're trying to live your life. They keep you from molestation and child molestation and all the horrible things in the world. Yeah? They protect you from it without carrying a gun. Yeah? Ever. Yeah? That's the future of humanity. Yeah? And it doesn't come from a president who says, I'm the president of the United States. Yeah? It comes from the strength and the courage, yeah, and the power that comes with love. Yeah? There's an office that's the office of the Christ is the office of love. Yeah? So that is the hardest thing to everybody wants peace. Yeah? All the way down to family love, personal love, you know. Everybody wants, you know, but what they really want is love. Yeah? And it answers the question to every problem. Yeah? If you're trying to figure out something in science, all you need is love. Yeah? All you need is just to calm down and stay with the place that you love what you're doing. You love what you're doing, yeah? And you just stay with that. And it will magically come to you. The answer will come to you because you're making love by what you're doing. And making love is co-creating, yeah? It gives you an impression. The Holy Spirit comes up. Love stimulates the Holy Spirit to manifest. Yeah? But you got to be in love. You got to have faith. You got to have strength. You got to have all these things. And it doesn't require, you know, like, got to know a lot of it, you know. But you do need to understand. Yeah? If you can't get to understanding and you're on one side and you're upset because everybody else is on the other side, then you don't understand enough to not be on either side. Yeah? Yeah? So that it's only an understanding that you stand in the center, yeah, and you hold that relationship of what's going on. And then you can help bring, you know, clarity to whatever's going on. Strength, yeah, compassion, yeah. All of that starts coming forward, yeah, just by having that love, yeah, being your base. Yeah. So that's what the hierarchy is about. The hierarchy is about a phenomenon of masters that have been over here, in this place, yeah, in these great big mountains. And then we got our ass kicked out, and we got our ass kicked. And I left, you know, I'm here. Tara's here, yeah. A whole lot of other people are here, yeah. Yeah. So by that process, we're in transition of getting the soul to integrate. And the soul is the collective body. And imagine all these people who are masters are not homosexual. Yeah? All these people are masters are not attached to drinking. And they're not attached to a whole lot of things that make up people's delusions and illusions, because they haven't figured those things out yet. So they're there still. Yeah? But the more I bring these masters into the influence of humanity, every 10 years, you lose vices. There's hardly anybody who smokes a cigarette anymore. You've lost that vice. And now it's at such a degree inside of Christ consciousness that if you come across it, it's foul. It tastes bad. It smells bad. It's ugly. There's nothing about it that is nice. Nothing. Yeah? Every single part of it is ugly. Yeah? And that's what love brings you. Yeah? Love allows you to discern, discriminate. Lift the veil, and all of a sudden you find out you're eating shit. You're eating shit. You're going through drive-thrus. People are living the worst life. They're not getting paid. What energy are you getting out of that burger? That old burger. Yeah? That really old burger. Yeah? And that nice piece of old chicken. Yeah? It's been triple cooked. Super greasy. Yeah? All the things you can get, through your fast food opportunity. And, the whole key to this is slowly but surely, it's going to be the same as not being able to smoke. Same as not being able to drink. Yeah, that's happening now. Slowly but surely. This process is moving up. Each chakra requires a lot of love to get them to be stimulated, and only one chakra at a time gets stimulated, not a bunch, just one. Yeah? But that one chakra alters the positions of the rays throughout your entire chakras. Yeah? So it changes your desire body. Your desire body was one way, led by Satan, and you were becoming a Satanist. And if you follow it with your desire body and become totally, completely absorbed in the solar plex, then you become the person, the agent. The small number they are, but you become the agent of the fourth ray of Lucifer. Small numbers they are. They're 4% of the human race. 4%. Yeah? These people are artists. Yeah? They're warmongers. Yeah? There are people who will steal from you with great hostility and anger. Yeah? They're gay. Yeah? People with the fourth ray to the brow. Anybody who moves that fourth ray to the brow by their activities of perversion. Perversion meaning, I'm going to rape you, little girl. I'm going to rape you, little boy. Lie, 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 say whatever you need, do whatever you need, manipulate, conjure, get it. And watch this person suffer. Have no conscience, no remorse, just build a bigger desire body. Yeah? So that goes on from one person to the next, and there's nothing to stop that from happening, because this person is building a relationship to Lucifer by committing a horrible sin on the youngest children, or even an innocent man or an innocent woman. Yeah? And to do that, you have to put that 666 in your brow. You have to get the mark. Yeah? And every time you go sixth ray, fourth ray up to the brow, that's one sixth ray. And sixth ray, sixth ray, sixth ray. I am so devoted. I'm so ideal. I am gay. I'm boy. I'm a girl. I'm all this. That's another sixth ray. Your emotional body. Yeah. And then you go into a process to where you're willing to change your body type. Yeah. Walk into a bar and lie to the opposite sex and say, you're a woman. And get them to make out, get them to have sex, yeah? And you're more flamboyant, and you're more open, and you're more everything they want. Kind of surprising. The biggest surprise is that it's a guy. And a lot of times you don't get to find that out until your friends take you to the side. Yeah. And then you have nightmares. Yeah. And you wonder, why did I do it? Am I gay? I did not enjoy it. Oh my God, this is horrible. Yeah. All those different things. And it happens a lot. Yeah. It's extremely common. When I was in the Navy, they had films, they had all kinds of, they gave us pictures of how to tell the difference between transgender and a real woman. They gave us pictures. They said, look out for, look for that, man. Watch out. If they ain't got that, don't touch them. Just look up. Yeah. Do a little touching around before you get any further. Really? That's what they said. They had all these things they would say. And yet, here's the Navy, and they're like thought to be primarily gay. And they were adamant about this is exactly what goes on, people. Watch out. Yeah. So that process is a little bit of something, yeah. But it has to do with the rays. And it's those rays that get to us the most. Yeah. People who run gangs. Yeah. People who make people go out and shoot other people because they're in a gang. That's fourth ray. Yeah. You do something, you have no conscience for it, and you actually get off on it. That's fourth ray. Push it right up to the brow. That means that you're willing to do something so conflicting that you veil both your soul and God. You have to move it. You have to completely eliminate God to do it, and you have to eliminate somebody of innocence in order to allow that to take place. Yeah, so this happens a lot, yeah, but it also happens in general gay reality, yeah. So in our percentage in the human race, we have 4% of the people have a fourth ray in their vehicles, yeah, a fourth ray, and that fourth ray quite often isn't in your vehicle, but it's in someone you got to know, who after a while, because you are more second ray or more sixth ray, you become chameleon-like. And you take on the habits and the attributes of someone you like because you want them to like you. And that's very normal for human beings to become chameleons. Yeah, they morph. You do this in puberty, you do this as you're passing through puberty, and you get all messed up because you have chakras that have to develop in their awakening, but yet you're being messed with in a satanic way that's actually turning your chakras backwards so that they can alter you, tell you, oh, well, maybe you should be a girl. Maybe you should be a boy. Let's dress you up as a girl. Go ahead, be flamboyant. Do these things, things you see on TV, things you see in books, things you hear. Yeah, do these things because it makes you makes you more flamboyant. That may make you a movie star. That may make you a rock star. Yeah? These flamboyant qualities that are not anything to do with our soul. They're opposite characteristics that have to do with the desire body of delusions of grandeur, flamboyance, grandeur. Yeah? So you see that in most gay cases. Yeah? There is a process of flamboyant and grandiose attitude. Yeah. So you wonder, I do, in a world like this, yeah, there's a lot of people who talk about homosexuality, and they talk about whether or not You know, how many gay people are there and how many guys are gay? Yeah. How many girls are gay? Yeah. And in this world right now, you know, the women think guys, most people are gay. And guys think, well, quite a lot of guys are gay. And girls. Yeah. Quite a lot. 17, 20%. Yeah. And women are going, you know, more like 28, 30%. Yeah. Percentage-wise, that's a lot. Yeah. If you look at 100%, yeah. Yeah. And 30% would mean that 60%, or, you know, or was it 70%? 70% of the people are straight. And that's it. And 30% out there are gay. Yeah. And that's the way they're thinking. Yeah. That's normal to them. Yeah. But the truth is that it's 4%. 4%. That's a whole heck of a lot less. Yeah. But our delusions of grandeur and what's being expressed due to this dramatic expression of LGBT and the flag and all of that, it's only 4% of our human race in the United States are these people. But yet they're taking over in branding, making themselves into 30%. That's recruiting. That's recruiting. That makes it almost impossible for you to go against what they say is that every guy is gay and we're all bisexual if you're going to be enlightened. If you're ever going to be free, you have to be bisexual. That's their belief system. Yeah. That way they don't have to push you to be gay, just bisexual. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not real because you can only be what you are. And once you start it, you go crazy. Because if you're not gay, then all of a sudden you've done perverted acts against your very nature. And it's going to trouble you for the rest of your life until you come to grips with the reality that this is not your nature, never was your nature, and you were abused. Yeah? And you don't take any credit for it. Absolutely none. Yeah? And just allow yourself to realize that, my God, in the whole world, there's only 4% of the human race. That means that 96%, you know, are straight. 96%. That means nobody's gay. Does it make sense? Actually, nobody's gay. Yeah. They're just trying to write it in. Taking up flags. They took up the entire rainbow. They're 4% of the people of the United States. And they took a flag, a rainbow, and made it theirs. That's such a wonderful, beautiful thing that was done by God. And then they turn the rays upside down, which are against the science rays. Yeah? And that's what the flag is. It's upside down in the spectrum of science. Yeah? Which is, why would you do that? That makes no sense. Yeah? Other than the fact that it's about conflict. It's a way to create conflict. The moment you look at it, you get conflicting. Because that's not right. And then all of a sudden you get an innate, am I thinking gays aren't right? You know? No, the flag's not right. The science is right. That's wrong. What are you trying to say? You know? I'm now really confused. You know, what are you trying to say? You know? And what they're trying to say is that they have nothing to say. They have absolutely nothing to say. They're just a lie. And they're dying. They're dying faster than anybody else in the human race. And there are only 4% of them. Yeah? And in 10 years, they only grew by 1%. Less than 1%. They grew by 0.4% in 10 years. And you look back, over that 10-year period, all the LGBTK and Ys, and yet they only grew by a minuscule 0.3%. They don't even exist. There is no growth. Yeah? All it is branding. It's PR branding, a flag, a bunch of people gathering together in cities that are well-known cities, And they make people think that there's so many of them in the like in Portland. Oh, everybody's gay. Yeah, this is what they say. Check this out.
Were perplexing. The latest poll indicates that we think many, many, many more of us are gay. What percentage of the American population do you think is gay? Now, when experts asked Americans what percentage of Americans are gay, the results were perplexing. The latest poll indicates that we think many, many, many more of us are gay than actually are gay. American men think that 17% of our population's gay, and American women think 30% of the US population's gay. The actual estimated gay population in America is 4.1%, which is up from 3.5% just 8 years ago. So why do we think so many of us are gay?
Good question.
It's probably no surprise that San Francisco ranks as the gayest city in America. Here, 6.2% of residents are gay, and about 1.5% of the total population is in same-sex marriages. San Francisco is Of course, Portland ranks really high in the nation. That's no surprise. More than 1 in 20 people in Portland is gay. For a long time, the City of Roses slogan was "Keep Portland Weird." Now, more and more, you're seeing "Keep Portland Queer" around town. Portland elected its first gay mayor in 2008. An out bisexual Portlander is Oregon's governor. An out Portland lesbian is the state Speaker of the House. Rainbow flags fly everywhere here.
Wasn't it in the news recently that Portland became the most violent city in the United States? And that it took over the capital area, it took over streets. Seattle did exactly the same thing. Isn't that kind of weird? Weird, yeah. Gay weird? Conflicting weird? Now what happens now? Now only 4% of the entire race of 100%. Yeah, that's very little. Yeah, 96% of the people aren't gay, but they are tolerant of gay, and they bring gay in a lot. They hire a gay mayor, they hire a gay governor, they hire gays, even though they're only 4% of the number of people in that city. Yeah, so the people are tolerating, buying into that the majority of them is gay. They buy into the majority of them is gay, but they're not. They're almost all of them are straight. They're just buying into it because the gay people are so freaking hostile. If you say anything about them, oh, I don't know, damn, they're going to sue you, they're going to kick your teeth in, they're going to get rid of you. Yeah? Just simply because you can't tolerate gay. Yeah? You're a homophobe. Yeah? You should go to prison for being against a gay person. Yeah? And if you're not, they'll write in laws to make sure that your words will take you to prison. You have to change your words. They say politically correct. Well, who's the policyholder here? Yeah? What politics are we focusing on? Yeah? 4%? Is that democratic? Yeah? Do you have any freedom whatsoever? Or are you controlled by these evil rays? Yeah? These rays, these rainbow things that come off the flag. Yeah? I know all about the rays. I think Satan knows all about the rays too. And Satan won't allow you to know about the rays, but I will. And I'll share with everybody about the rays, and you're going to have to deal with the fact that your rays is your rays. And you have a 99% chance that you're not developing your rays because you're tolerating evil rays, characteristics and qualities that come out of evil rays. You tolerate them. You haven't got all the rays, so you don't know how to deal with them. You know, you don't know how to govern them. Govern them means you have to govern your emotions. Yeah? You have to have control over your physical body. You can't be like Trump, never exercise a day in your life. Yeah? You got to do something to bring balance to yourself. Something to bring balance to your emotions. Yeah? Restrict yourself from a burger a day at least, man. But he has no restrictions. He can rape little girls that look like his daughter. Have no restrictions. Yeah? There's no restrictions in hiring prostitutes and then ruin their lives after that. Yeah? There's no restrictions. Yeah? And hanging out with the evilest people on the planet. Yeah? And get away with it. No restrictions. Yeah? And he's still doing it. And he's ruling the government. Yeah? And everybody's going crazy over it because they really can't believe it's happening. They cannot believe it's happening. Now he's in such a place to where he really knows he's going to be voted out. So he doesn't want anybody to vote. That's the only outcome he's got. Yeah? In his mind, you know, I have to talk him into not voting. Wait a year. Yeah. It happened in one other country. And it's happening right now in another country. Yeah. Very small country. Yeah. Very sick, small country. They got a reason. Yeah. Their mail system doesn't work. All kinds of things. You know, they don't have a good ballot system. People can't do it. You know, so for democracy, for the right of democracy, the voting will happen at a later date. But here, we have internet. We have everything. There, we are the most advanced country in the world. We have sophisticated means in which to do this voting and be off by maybe 1%. 1%. You know? And there's no way it's not going to be done on time because they're going to send out the ballots right now. They are. So there's all the states are beginning to sending them out now. Yeah? And you could fill it out and mail it in anytime you want. And they'll start counting them now. And it'll add up on the time of the counting of all the ballots. And by the end of the following day, we'll have a complete count. Yeah. There's nothing he could do. Yeah. You know, but that's not his thing. His thing is that he needs to control this thing. So one of the things we've seen, you know, is that Trump, we know that Trump was supposed to do a great big testing thing in a whole bunch of ways in order to get people not have states be in charge and responsible for things, but have the federal government go in and bring about an organized way to get everybody everything they needed. Yeah. And Kushner, who's his son-in-law, was given the responsibility to do this. So he and his roommate from college got together and created this super team. Yeah. And they included a bunch of other people that were really doing a good job. Yeah. And they gathered together about a month and a half ago. And they were ready to go forward. But Trump decided, you know, right now it looks like the states that are not looking so good as far as sickness are the blue states. So let's don't do anything right now. And let's blame it on them, that it's their fault, the Democrats, that they're rioting and they're causing all these things, and they're the cause of the epidemic now that's growing. And this was all supposed to be silent. No one's supposed to know any of this. Yeah. But oopsie daisy, being in America and all, people like to talk, you know. You know, and there's nobody doesn't like talk more than people who are in investigation business and, you know, would like a Pulitzer Prize.
Appreciate being here. So this plan was hammered out in secret with a sort of brain trust of Jared Kushner's, which included his college roommate, but also experts from the diagnostic testing industry. They worked night and day in secret using the WhatsApp encrypted platform, and they did develop a cogent national plan. And it's a plan that every other industrialized nation that has gotten, flattened their curve has used, where you nationalize the response to testing, you surge supplies nationally, you divvy up laboratory capacity nationally. Then, as one participant told me, the plan just went poof into thin air. So behind the scenes, sorry, go ahead.
No, so I wanted to ask you about that, because what did happen behind the scenes? I mean, I know, you talked to several people who were, involved with this, who knew about it. You talk about one who was in frequent contact with the official coronavirus task force, and they told you that someone on Kushner's team said, oh, well, we don't need a national plan because at that time, right, it's blue states being hit the hardest, Democrat states. And you quote the expert as saying the political folks believed that because it was going to be relocated to Democratic states, that they could blame those governors, and that would be an effective political strategy. Look, it's a stunning thing, Catherine. I mean, this is basically saying they did not care if people died in Democrat states, that somebody really did not care. I mean, it's a stunning thing. Tell me what you know.
Yeah. So, the plan, which was going to be announced, hit changing sentiment at the White House. There was a shared feeling, which turned out to be spectacularly wrong, that the virus was receding, it was going to be under control, and at the time, it was just the blue states where the virus was surging. So the idea was, why go through all the effort to surge up a national plan? It wasn't going to have political resonance, was a phrase that I was given, and that, if there was a political response that was needed, the blue state governors could just be blamed, and that the national plan wasn't needed. And of course, in retrospect, we look at what's happened this summer. It's surging in numerous states across the country. A national plan is very much needed.
And that's the truth. Yeah. Pretty much needed, I would think. So, as you can see, the government is not a good planning group. Yeah, it takes a long time. And they're very corrupt, and they like to make a lot of money. And they're more worried about whether or not they're going to be in the same office next cycle. So it's all either a 4-year or 6-year period of interest, that they're carrying out. So it's really not fulfilling, what it is we need to fulfill. Yeah. Where I come from, the people that I work with are committed for the rest of their lives, and they are reincarnated masters. So we know them. Yeah. When they reincarnate, we know them from their previous life, the life after that. And I'm a reincarnate, so I know them in my previous life, and they find me when I reincarnate, and I find them when they reincarnate. This is how we built this. This entire Potala is tens of thousands of rooms for masters that reincarnate, and this is not a joke. This is very serious. It's very real, and it has moved to America. Yeah? So that means over the next 20, 30, 40 years on, from here on, forever, yeah, there's not going to be a system that we have today. Yeah, this is not a titulary system. This is designed for masters of wisdom, people we can count on, people that we work with in a telepathic way, that bring about changes in the world that illuminate the consciousness of humanity, changing their entire perspective of negativity, wealth, and all the different things that goes on that create suffering. We need that, yeah? But the difficulty of getting it is that you have to get past the lower initiatory levels, yeah? You can't even get past probationary, yeah? So for us to get to these places where we can actually have and facilitate reincarnated masters taking the office of Senate and a mayor and police officers, yeah, that's going to take quite a while. Yeah, they're going to come, and their process will be in large numbers. Yeah, but it's only going to be after I have instilled the fact that you're knowing they're coming, and that you need to be aware of this, and that I'm going to be in a position as I was at the Patala. I'm always Buddha. I always reincarnate as Buddha. I'm always the planetary logos, and I come with a seal. Yeah? And this is a seal of the future. This is where we're at. In the future, this is the seal of the President of the United States. Yeah? This seal has the planetary logos that looks like Atlas. And he carries the globe of the entire Earth, yeah, on top of his head. Yeah? And maybe on your thing you might see it backwards or whatever. But it says White House Office, Presidential Contingency Programs, Power Section. That's the White House. Yeah. And then the rest is created in fire under the principle created by fire through peace, yeah, and through serving in a state of silence. Yeah. So this is all done. This is called the Commander-in-Chief. So what the Commander-in-Chief does is a telepathic agent that transmits into the hierarchy. And the hierarchy, as humanity becomes the initiates, they automatically are initiated to be attracted to the hierarchy. And all of this begins to make extreme sense. Yeah, it doesn't, not for a long time. Yeah, because it really takes quite a while. But we're going to go through a quicker way because we have Native Americans that are from this country that have been waiting to be reincarnated and reinstilled with their soul and the initiations they have of the first, second, and third initiation. The highest level of American Indian is the third degree initiate. Now, in the world, that's basically a master. Yeah? Those people dematerialize, they rematerialize, they are masterful on so many levels. They bring about peace, transcend everything, and they're extremely rare. Yeah, there are maybe 300-400 out of millions. Yeah, a third degree initiate. But then for that 300 or 400, they have each one has hundreds of thousands of first degree initiates just under them. First degree, not second degree, first degree. And the second degree initiates are still moving through the cooperative qualities of even higher than that, which would be the Christ, yeah, under the influence of the Christ. But they're not having a direct contact. Their direct contact is with masters who are third degree initiates, yeah. So they may be called chiefs, or they may be called holy men, or they may be called people of the higher order, highest order in the American Indian. Yeah. So these people live and die. They do exist, yeah, and they're going to come back. And the process of this earth is in a process of transfiguration through reincarnation. Yeah. So I'm moving everything over to here. I built this Shambhala. We already have Washington, D.C. We already have all the things in place. Every state is sanctioned to a name, and it's mainly Native American. Yeah. A lot of the main cities are namely Native American. Yeah. So we have an enormous amount of names and titles and things that are established in this continent, in these states, that help to awaken, recapitulate in us a relationship to the first and second initiation. Yeah, holy divine ways of thinking. Yeah, Earth is divine. We don't need these things. We can be minimalist. You know. We can live on less. We can do things in smaller ways, you know. We can live longer in our life if we're spiritual. If we go on a spiritual quest by the time we're 14 to 16, you know, it'll make total change in the character of our being. And if we don't, we will never become the man or a woman we were meant to be. We missed it. You have to do it during these times. You know, when all of your sexual processes, all of your psychic energy is starting to move, when you're in puberty, is the time of the quest. Every human being has to go through it, because by natural order, we have an initiation every 7 years. Yeah, by natural order. And as time goes on, we begin having this part of our school, part of our real reality, part of our family life, part of a way of looking at another person, part of our way of dealing with life, you know, incorporating spirituality in really important first 7 years, really, really important 7 through 14, extremely important 14 to 21, extremely important, yeah? Whether or not you're going to be a murderer, whether or not you're going to be a rapist, whether or not you're going to be raped, whether or not you're going to be murdered. All of that is whether or not you've cleansed yourself, purified yourself, strengthened yourself, cleared your karma through hardships between 0 and 21. You know, all the life's hardships. And you go through a training. You know, it's an adventure. It's a quest. And you get through that and you become strong. Yeah, the Great Spirit brings all these things to you, and you build, and you build, and you build with that. Yeah. So this is what we're going to do. Yeah. And yet doesn't seem normal, yeah, in the old American way, but not in the Native American way. Yeah. So that's the first group that I'm going to be talking with. That's the first group that I will do large mass teaching with. And I will expect them to carry out the commanding relationships that allows them to take command over humanity. And if they can't do that, and they still have their desire bodies that they built up in the last 200 or 300 years, then we're going to go a slow road. Yeah. But if they can pull this together and really clear themselves and let go of all pagan bullshit, come right into the truth and understand everything I'm saying and clearly move with it, their initiations will recapitulate like overnight. And that will affect the new children that are born immediately. All the old people who are dying will be blessed, yeah, and be restored, and they'll reincarnate. And they won't just reincarnate in Native Americans, they'll reincarnate all over the place. But they'll be drawn back into the process of the lifestyle that's going to be expressed by the Native American. Yeah, and there's millions of Native Americans in white bodies and black bodies and brown bodies out there that, you know, don't think you have to be Native American to have these initiations come to you. There are millions of people out there with the soul of a Native American, and they've only been Caucasian the last 200 or 300 years. You know, so don't worry about those things. So where I come from, we have a monastery being built, and that monastery is involved with the making of the building and the establishing of what we did in Tibet, you know, which is, you know, a lot of no film, you know, no movies, not a lot, you know, because that was all before then, yeah, you know. But we have history, and we are the makers of all science. We're the makers of everything that's ever been invented and thought of. Comes out of the minds of these people who go Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, yeah, and they have these thoughts, and you have no idea how organized those thoughts are and how they are scientifically developed. They're not just flamboyant thoughts of some spiritual mumbo jumbo, yeah. They're highly organized thoughts that move you in your mind into skilled ways of thinking that are not a part of material reality, but are part of a higher esoteric etheric reality that coexist. And they could see it, sense it, and they bring it through their consciousness to reach Earth. And that happens through their consciousness, yeah. So these are the people from my monastery. This is, I believe, was this my birthday? Yeah. This is my birthday. And this is the highest monastery in Tibet. It's in Leitong. It's the Maitreya Monastery. That's my disciple. He's the senior of them all. He's the one who, when he was young, he would meditate in a cave, and from that he would have images and visions of me, and I would appear to him. And by the time he turned around 25, he realized that I was incarnated, and he really wanted that to be worked out. So he got a hold of his nephew, who is a young monk, and told him that he's having direct contact with Maitreya, and Maitreya is incarnated, and get out there and see if you might be able to contact him or find him. And he went to Nepal, and he located me. And so from there, his cousin brought me to his place. So we started building this monastery. We built another one. This is a really big monastery. This is the top of the first floor. And you look over right there, that monastery is the one that we built about 10 years ago. And that's the one we do all the chanting and all the monastic work. And then the one we're building here is for all the masters. This is their bedrooms, the place they will live, and they'll live out the rest of their lives. That's the second portion that's going to be built down there. So that's Leitong, yeah, sitting on top of Earth. Yeah. And it's being established and built now because we have, you see most of these are Khenpos and high Rinpoches that are somewhere between 40 and on, yeah, and then the younger monks and lamas. But the older ones they're in their highest. We've gathered together. This was a very informal scenario. This was a master who knew Christ, that was in direct contact with Maitreya, that was enthroned by Sakya Tenzin and recognized for what he's going to do, recognizing me and bringing me out, externalizing me. And so from that moment on, from the moment of him bringing me to Leitong and enthroning me, and then meeting all the masters, because we were there for a good 2 or 3 weeks, and we met all the major masters that were there, and that established all of Leitong to come under this one master, all of them, yeah. And in that time, from 10 years, 12 years ago, it's now this large group of people, yeah, this really large group that is all the masters of wisdom of that location. And they come from not just Leitong. They travel from Kham, they travel from Chengdu, they travel from all around, and they make their way there because we're building this next monastery, the big one, yeah. And in doing that, we're helping to foster the reality of reincarnation again. Yeah, a lot of this is most recently, up to last year, Dalai Lama was very much saying that we have too many tukus, and that we really shouldn't put that much into the tuku recognition process. And it sounded a lot like the way Trump behaves, and trying to make laws to keep things from happening and stuff like that. Well, that's just a characteristic of lower mind, and it's a symptom, and he carried it out. But in the last year, he stepped back on all of that and said that he's not going to be involved in that anymore, and that he's not going to be against Dorje Chungden and the incarnation of Dorje Chungden. He won't be against, and he's not against a lot of things he said he was against. So that meant that people can reincarnate without prejudice and bias and hostility from the Dalai Lama, and separation from the many lineages against each other. Yeah, and even within their own group, Kaju lineage or other lineages. So that very much has shifted. So now we have freedom, for all these Rinpoches to come under me, knowing that I am 100% into the reality of helping them in their reincarnation, because they've witnessed me over the last 30 years find little tukus. And yet no one calls me, no one gives me any addresses, no one tells me anything. But yet I go places, I show up, no one's expecting me. I get out of the car, I walk to a location, I says, there's a tuku here. I want to meet him, And I know the tuku, and I know this is going on, and they bring him out. All the way from Ling Rinpoche, Kalu Rinpoche, all the Rinpoches, slowly but surely, throughout their reincarnated life, have come through me, and have been fostered. And if they didn't get to me, they weren't protected. Jomkon Kuncha Rinpoche wasn't protected because of Taisattu Rinpoche, and he stood between me and many of my disciples. So all of those people suffered. And the people who got to me didn't suffer. They're all doing really well. So that established. This is, the 99th throne holder of Tsongkhapa. It's established the heads of Drepung, to recognize Buddha Maitreya and know that I will flourish our past and bring back reincarnation, and I will be the one who recognized tukus. I was the one who recognized Naropa immediately, but no one would recognize the guy. I did. No one would recognize Logan Tuku for who he really was. I did. No one recognized all these different people. No one knew that there were more than one Karmapa. I did. How is it I know all that, and yet they're in charge of this thing? And they realized that because I have all these abilities that used to be normal in Tibet, that brought us to where we're at, It's through me that they can trust that it will all come back. And they could trust the fact of all that they're doing has a purpose. And the outcome will be what we say it will be. That we will find each other. That you won't be lost in samsara, which is what was going on. Everybody was being lost in samsara. Yeah. So there are large masses of Tibetans that are right now going into a very strong relationship from Lumbini to all the way into Drepung, into Nepal, all the way up into Letong. They're all taking relationship to me. So that, and I'm choosing to live in America. I'm not choosing to live in China. I'm not choosing to live in Tibet. I'm not choosing to live in Nepal. I'm not choosing to live in Bhutan. I'm not choosing to live in India. I'm not choosing to live in Sri Lanka. I've been there. I've already done that. I've lived in those places. I raised those places up. But this is the new continent. Yeah? This is the one that could raise all the rest of them up. Yeah? Because people from all over the world will come here and recapitulate their initiations through this process. Yeah, that I'm going to be putting out. Yeah, so it's a big thing. It's not a little thing. And what we're dealing with this president, listen to what he did. Look at that last thing he did. He took all the information. He had a guy going around and collecting and gathering scientists, preparing the ability for everybody to be tested, and organizing for everybody to find out where the worst is at, to isolate it, and bring ourselves into a slow process of closure without it causing major harmful effects to society. Just by having a good testing system and then going out and double checking everything. Yeah. But he turned that off so that he could turn it against the Democrats. Yeah. And establish more anger and hostility. All of this was done on purpose. Sending out the police and then saying, and it's going to all Democratic governors and mayors because they're assholes. And if you continue hiring them again, you're going to go to hell in a quick handshake. That's what he's telling everybody. Yeah? So it's that influence that is affecting people, and it's the fourth ray. It's the fourth ray, and it's coming from our tolerance. We're tolerating Trump. We're tolerating these gay people who are highly hostile in their ability to carry out their perverted lifestyle. Yeah? They're highly hostile, very aggressive. They're not at all caring about us. The other 96% of people who are straight, who don't want anything to do with homosexuality. Nothing. And therefore, why should we have to tolerate it? Why should we be put in that position? Yeah? It shouldn't be that way. It should be completely private. It should be 100% private. You should not know if a person's gay. There should not be markings. There should not be a bandana. There should not be a flag. There should not be something to tell a person that you can carry on perverted acts with me. Because that's what that's for. And it's to delude people to think that everybody's gay and a lot of people are gay and all this kind of stuff, and it's not true. It should go back to where it should be, private. Sex is private. It's private. Yeah? If you're heterosexual, do you go out, do you have a flag with your penis on it? Or your vagina and your breasts? I'm heterosexual. Oh, wow, okay. That would be so strange. But yet that's what gay people do. That's not right. That's slapping us in the face. Slapping us in the face. In San Francisco, they made a legal right that men can walk in public with no pants on. They made that legal for a whole 6 months, maybe less, but at least for a period of time. And I said, well, we all should get a bunch of, rubber bands. And you see it, shoot it. Yeah, shoot it. Yeah, and make sure they carry a diaper to put on a chair when they sit down. Make sure they carry something to make safe, yeah, when they sit down. They can't sit anywhere. You know, you can't plop your ass with your asshole and your poop sticking right at the edge. You can't do that. And your hairy, stinky balls, you can't do that. Yeah. You know, but yet they went, okay, yeah, we're going to do this. Yeah. And 96% of the people in San Francisco are not gay. So it did not go over well. You know, those 96% of people went nuts. Oh my God. They didn't know there was a law passed for a man to have his penis out, and it's perfectly okay. And you have no legal right to say anything because you're homophobic. No, I'm not homophobic. That's freaking wrong. That's really wrong. Whoa, how about that, yeah? You know, it's just amazing. Just amazing. Yeah. 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 So that's our tolerance. How much tolerance do we do? Yeah. Yeah. If a gay person dies like milk, yeah, dies in San Francisco and is shot, you know, you don't know the story. You don't know why the guy was shot. You know, people get shot. But because he was gay, he was martyred. And a big movement and a council and everything got made out of it. You know, as though that was an event. It's branding. It's all branding. Yeah. And it's nothing, anything. It's not anything. No more than the child who got shot by a gun at the park. You know, it's terrible. Yeah. It's no worse. It's no better. It is what it is, you know. But if you want to make it into something, and if you're gay and you're perverted, then you're going to twist it up and you're going to make a movement out of it. Yeah. So there's a lot going on, and we have another process that our beautiful president is working on. And he's a tax collector is what he is. Yeah, that's what he is. He's a real estate agent, tax collector. He's the guy that calls you on the phone and says, are you going to pay your credit card? Are you going to pay your credit card? You better pay your credit card and come take your house. You know, he's that guy. He is that guy. And he's doing that right now with China, with Russia, with Italy, with Germany. If we owe him money and we're not putting our money into it, he's going to take all his toys and take them out of your country and leave you defenseless. Even at a time of war, even when Russia's running around with missiles shooting everywhere and everybody's afraid, this guy will go in and say, I'm going to take out 1,400 troops and take away $150 million to support, you know, military defense in the world. In the world, not for just America, but for the whole world. He steps out of that. Yeah. That was the first time ever that sort of thing has ever happened. Let's see.
Historic reduction in the number of American troops stationed in Germany. Even more will be leaving than expected. The U.S. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper announced the withdrawal, downplaying its significance.
It is important to note that in NATO's 71-year history, the size, composition, and disposition of U.S. forces in Europe has changed many times.
But U.S. President Donald Trump said the move is meant to send a message to Germany.
We're reducing the force because they're not paying their bills. It's very simple. They're delinquent.
Trump often points out that Germany does not meet a NATO guideline that all members should spend 2% of their economic output on defense. Germany only spends 1.4%. But that guideline refers to spending on each country's own military, not directly to NATO. NATO members are now seeking answers as to how the new US plan will be carried out and what it will mean for the future of European security.
What a guy. Yeah, so that's not a good thing. Yeah, I don't know if you know that, but it's not a good thing. Yeah, we're in a international process that's been built up in the American way of doing diplomacy. Yeah, and diplomacy is the rule to governing. Yeah, when you have an integrated relationship with other countries, and you have been to war, and you'd like to not go to war, then you create these relationships that are bilateral. You create friendships, and you create financial support. In our case, Germany went to war. We went to war with Germany. It went through very terrible destruction. We went right in and did financial support, did infrastructure building. We did the same in Japan. We did the same in Iran. We did the same in Iraq. We did the same everywhere we do what we do. Yeah, we have another process that comes in saying, okay, now the only reason we did that is because you were being taken over. Yeah, and we were defending you. Yeah, and that's all known. That's all known in the process. But now that it starts pulling back, it's our nature. What is our real nature is to continue our support, not to weaken it, not to pull back or charge them for it. Yeah, but to know that there is an equal bilateral relationship of support that happens when that time comes in need. Yeah, and everything comes. You don't talk money at times like this. If you were to go to war and everybody puts everything into it, it's everything. It's everything. Yeah. So Germany is putting everything into their military might, everything they can. They're not the richest country in the world. They're a small country, and they're putting everything they can. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just not paying their amount that they're supposed to be paying, and he doesn't like that. Yeah. So he's going to not only pull out money, but pull out troops, which means if anything happens, don't count on us. And we're America. We have the largest military on earth. We have the biggest support system. We are the people who are supposed to be counted on. Yeah, it's supposed to be. But he's the guy is going around making everybody despise America because we are, like Native Americans say, we are two-hearted. Yeah, we have two hearts. We speak with two tongues. Yeah, you lie. Yeah, you say one thing, you do another. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You make a treaty. Well, guess what? Yeah, it's not binding. It's just to get your way. Yeah, and then when you need your way again, you'll make another treaty. Nothing's binding. That's the kind of guy he is. Yeah, that's what he's doing to other countries. He's doing that to Russia. He's doing that to China. China's in the middle of the worst possible pandemic. Even though they say they only had 1,500 people die, they had over 300,000 people die. They just can't commit to saying that. There's no way they can verify it. All those bodies have been buried. Everything's gone. They didn't test them. They didn't verify anything. Just mass death. Hundreds of thousands. You've seen it. If you went back and look over the news, look at YouTube. Go back to January. Yeah, coronavirus, China. Follow it. You will be able to count over 300,000 deaths just by watching YouTube. Yeah, because the numbers come popping up every once in a while. Just add them up. That's what I do. Yeah, I don't have everything that, to give all the information, but it's out there because people find it, people get it, people talk, and it comes out. Yeah. So they're in worse. They have dams that are exploding. They have floods that are all over the place. 50 million people are out of homes right now. Yeah. They are also without jobs, and they do not get any financial support. None. Yeah. None. And they have to stay in their house, and there's no way of getting food. There's no way of getting anything. Yeah. And they'll grab you and put you into prison if you go against this process, because as anxiety gets worse, this behavior gets worse. Yeah. So China can go really badass crazy and do some really ridiculous things. And yet we have Trump doing what he's doing because he's badass crazy. Doing it for the same reason, because he hasn't got a soul. And he's expressing these things in ways that are really harming every single person. Every single person. There's not a thing he does that isn't harmful. And if he was planning to be this harmful, wow, we got to do something. Because if he's planning to be this harmful, there's no telling what the outcome plan is. Because right now, I got to give him the credit of not planning. He's out of control. He's just incompetent. He's not qualified. Yeah. But if you vote him in one more time, it's the same thing that allows this homosexual reality to take place. I want you to look at one more thing. See if I can find this. Documents.
At the time, it was just the blue state. Discernment discrimination is one of the things that comes with the soul. And when there are symptoms in soullessness, yeah. So one of the symptoms is that you're drawn to and to create a horrendous environment. You're drawn to the worst environment. And after you get there, it becomes the worst environment. San Francisco right now is completely controlled by homeless, devastation, and out of control reality. Yeah. Same thing in Portland, same thing in Seattle. And these are high gay areas. But where do you think is the place that there's the largest number of gay people in the United States? What horrendous place, what is the worst place these perverts would choose? The worst place. This is where they deserve to go. Where would you go if you're in America and you want to go to the worst place on earth? Well, check this out. Where's that at? Palm Springs. It's hard to see. I don't know if you could see it. But right now, the weather in Palm Springs is 103. Right now, this evening. Yeah, at this time. Yeah. And then at daytime, it's 113. Yeah.
118. Yeah? 118, 117. Nighttime, it's 103. Insects might live there. Yeah? But not human beings. Yeah? I mean, how do you get out of your car? How do you go from one place to the next? I mean, you gotta have a reason to live there. Well, how many people live there that are gay? Over 50% of the people of Palm Springs are gay. That should tell you something, people. That hardly anybody in America is gay, and hardly anybody in America wants to live in Palm Springs. There wouldn't hardly be anybody there if it wasn't for this 50% of the people that are there are gay. Yeah? Or they could go to places that they left behind, which is where all the homeless are at and where all the rioting is going on. Yeah? They can go to San Francisco, they can go to Seattle, they can go to Portland, yeah, where everybody wears black and it's called weird. But yet they believe everybody's gay there. And they're not. They're only 4%. Yeah? And where do the rest of them go? They go to hell. They go straight to hell. Isn't that amazing? I find that really interesting. I mean, it's a real symptomatic scenario, you know? Yeah. The numbers in Hawaii aren't that high. Yeah. The numbers in other locations aren't that high. Even in LA, 4.1%. That's normal across the country. 50%? 50% is an enormous amount of homosexual activity going on in one town, one city. Yeah, that's not a state. It's 50% of these people. And their temperature tonight is 103. Yeah. I think that's just symptomatically, it's where discernment and discrimination lies. Yeah. And if you desire to be in the most hottest, place, and you do it because you could be with other gay people, you can hang together, live house to house next to each other, not have any straight people around at all. Just everybody's gay. Oh, the things you could do and say, get away with, behavior, everything. It's just totally gay. Yeah? But you got to do it in hell. You got to do it in 113 degrees. And this is summertime. It's July. It's pretty hot. But it's not any different in September. It's not a whole lot different in December. Yeah? It's a heck of a lot hotter in June. 125. I mean, really, you pack up and you head to Palm Springs because that's your choice of where you want to live and die? 51% of gays? Yeah. That changes everything. That means that there's only 4% in the United States and average cities, and there's 50% in this one. That number of people collectively puts out an aura of illusion that there are masses of gay people that live and take over cities, whole cities. And yet there's only one place in all places that that's ever happened, and it's hell. That's it. There's one place. Yeah. Something to think about. All right, so let's do meditation. All right. Okay, just repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad.
I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom
to guide me into the right activity in the plan, to clarify and stimulate my mind, to transform and transmute my feelings and emotions, to energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body, so there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One.
Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One.
All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, take a deep breath. Intuition as the second ray. ideas, the mental body, the purpose, your life. The second ray of ideals, the astral body, and your quality. The third ray of idols, your physical body and your form. The fourth ray of the fourth kingdom of humanity in balance. The fifth ray, the third kingdom, the animals. The sixth ray, the second kingdom, vegetables. The seventh ray, the first kingdom, minerals. I call upon the relationships of all the kingdoms to penetrate the personality of humanity and express its collective soul. The seventh ray and the fourth ray as the mineral kingdom. The second ray, the fourth ray, and the sixth ray as the vegetable kingdom. The third ray and the sixth ray as the animal kingdom. The fourth ray and the fifth ray as the human kingdom. The fifth ray and the second ray as the egoic soul. The sixth ray and the third ray as planetary lives. The first ray and the seventh ray as solar lives. Penetrate the planet Earth to bring forth the geomantic relationships of the soul, to integrate the egoic ray and the personality ray of each nation, and to express its true expression, to make manifest peace on earth as one living body of God. I call upon India to bring forth its fourth ray of personality and to integrate its first ray of soul to manifest the hidden light. I invoke China to bring forth its third ray personality, to integrate its egoic soul into its first ray, to manifest as the indication of the I invoke Germany to bring forth its first ray of personality, to integrate its egoic soul of fourth ray, to preserve the truth. I invoke France and its third ray personality to integrate its fifth ray of egoic soul to release the light. I invoke Great Britain and its first ray personality and its second ray egoic soul to bring forth its service. I invoke Italy and its fourth ray personality to integrate its sixth ray soul to carve the two paths. I invoke the United States and its sixth ray personality to integrate its second ray soul to light the way. I invoke Russia and its sixth ray personality to integrate its seventh ray soul to link the two ways. I invoke Australia and its fifth ray personality to integrate its fourth ray soul and serve the lighted way. I invoke Spain and its seventh ray personality to integrate its sixth ray soul to disperse the clouds. I invoke Brazil and its second ray personality to integrate its fourth ray soul to hide the sea. I invoke the entity of this planet, the planetary logos, to incarnate the life and the beingness of this planet. I invoke the expression of the second ray force into both the personality and the egoic rays of the nation and the personality of the egoic ray of humanity, to fuse itself and its light into its healing process. I invoke the esoteric law of solar energy to make manifest the cosmic force of light, love, and peace. Okay, just relax. Okay, open your eyes. Okay, so you all know this monastery. This is one we're in right now. And you all heard of this one. That's my old monastery. My new monastery. Another monastery that I built. This one is located in Dhamma. It's the monastery of the 5 Shastras. That means that every single group of Tibetan Buddhism, every lineage is represented here. And this is mine. I built this. Yeah. And I started the building on this around 2001 and finished around 2003, 2004. And I have many kamsans, many which are monasteries that are situated inside of an extremely large university complex. And it's representing many of the bigger universities, Naropa's universities, Lumbung, Gandin, all these different universities are all represented there. And this is Drepung. This is my main group, Lumbung Kamsan. And all of the Kamsan, I'm the senior Rinpoche of that Kamsan, and I'm senior Rinpoche of a whole bunch of Kamsans. Yeah, but this is part of my monastic process. Yeah, the groups that I work with and what I'm building. Yeah, so this is another one. Yeah, this is called Yampa-chen. Yampa-chen is the highest monadic monastery for meditation to the Kali Chakra. Yeah, this was the Panchen Lama's monastery. It's the monastery of Maitreya, Ananda, and Asanga. Yeah. So this one, I'm the senior Rinpoche. There are many Rinpoches, many masters who represent this particular monastery. And it is by far one of the largest monasteries in Tibet and in China, just outside of Beijing. And it's really amazing. It's a meditation retreat where people go for lifelong meditation and retreat. And they attain very high levels of initiation. They can get all the way to a 5th degree initiation by facilitating this monastery. That's pretty high. Yeah. And that's also my monastery. So all of them that I work with, you know, in establishing, after I left, I established soul therapy, the new monastic order that I'll be developing. And I had to go back to Tibet and reintroduce that, what I've reestablished in a new way, to Tibetans so that they could bridge. So they need to learn that soul therapy existed, a new form of meditation. It's more powerful than any meditations that they've taken on. Yeah, no matter what level you're working at, no matter on a low level to a high level, my meditations are the ones that effectively help everyone. And no matter how high your initiations are, these are much higher. Yeah, so they establish all the way from the 1st initiation to the 7th initiation. You know, all my work does that. So I had to go back and reestablish that, do that in all these monasteries. Teach. Yeah. So that's what helps to bring about the relationship of change that is going to happen. Here I've incarnated here, and I've been here 69 years, but this is about reincarnation. So I've established my monastery here. I've established other monasteries outside of here in Tibet after it had been completely demolished. I went back and reestablished all the senior monasteries, Drepung and every single one of them, all the way to into Nepal, all the way to Bhutan, all the way. Every single one of them have all been reestablished and anointed. Yeah. So all the new incarnations and all the old ones that are there are all being facilitated, being blessed. There's no lagging in their ability to recapitulate and to keep moving forward, which is where they were at. When I wasn't there, they were all freaking out, dealing with the Dalai Lama, saying what you're doing is wrong, how you pray is wrong, you're going to go to hell if you continue doing it. That was just devastating them, let alone being kicked out of Tibet. So they had all of that going on, and I had to jump in on the middle of all that and show them that I am here, it's going to be okay, and I will facilitate all of you, and I'll start with the children. I'll start with the needy. I'll help on the monasteries, I'll feed all of you, and I'll rebuild your monasteries, but we must take care of the Sangha. You need to understand, you do not make Sangha slaves. You bring Sangha into the Sangha by feeding them and taking care of them and recognizing their dilemma as not bad karma, it's your karma. And you should have never made them slaves in the first place. And they wouldn't be in this boat. So all of my students realize that, they've come from bad places, and they have to work this out. And they're totally capable. And now many Tibetans are in the process, many High Rinpoches are following my orders of going out and feeding the hungry, feeding the needy. Not building monasteries, not establishing a teaching program, but helping people who have been kicked out of homes, people who are in wheelchairs and not being taken care of. They have a heart. These Rinpoches have a heart, and they're going to take care of the elderly and people who do not have homes and do not have loved ones. That's what they're going to do. And that's going to make a biggest difference, because I can't ask that of anybody else other than people who have the heart to respond. And these people have the heart. All they got to do is know that this is okay. This is what they need to do. They do not have to meditate anymore. They can do that on the side. Just be active and busy, and then meditate. Then pray. Then do all the things you do. But be the saint you are meant to be. Let's begin our actions of being a saint. So start from the very ground up. Start with people at the very lowest level and lift them up. Include them in the Sangha. And that's the teachings of Padmasambhava. That's the teachings of Buddha. So that's what I'm doing with these people, and they're going to reincarnate. They're going to come into this area. They're going to facilitate everybody. And the way we build monasteries there is how we're going to build monasteries here. All of Drepung and the hundreds and hundreds of thousands that are there now will leave there to come here. I have the Karmapa already here. I have many others that are already here in the United States. And we'll begin establishing this so everybody can step into the Sangha, and we can actually start feeding this world, taking care of this world, and stop all this perversion, because we're not taking care of the needs of the many when we have the opportunity. Okay? So, enjoy. Thank you.